Howdy guys, welcome to the cave. I'm Mark, and you're watching Blue Street Customs. Hey guys, and welcome back to the cave. I'm going to try an experiment today. Now you see all these people on YouTube and they're making all kinds of different resin products, like paperweights and, all kinds of stuff. A lot of them use real flowers and all kinds of weird stuff to put in it. The real flowers, a lot of it turns gross. It doesn't work out right because the epoxy's burning them and everything else. So I'm going to use plastic flowers. Not a big deal. But what I'm going to use is one of these little plastic cups that you get like sauces in from a restaurant and stuff like that. I'm going to try and put in a tea light. So what I'm looking at is if I put it in just like that, and then all the flowers and everything in there. Now one of these tea lights, they're from the dollar store, they're cheap. They flicker. I don't know if you can see that. So they flicker, so I'm going to try and put that in there. And again, I just picked up some flowers from the dollar store. Just different things. Pick them up, they're $1.50 at the store I got them from. You can pick them up fairly cheap. I just cut off what I want and away you go. So I picked up, fern style plants, a couple, I don't even know what kind of flower that is, and just different ones. Just an experiment. Now I got to be able to keep this on top. So what I'm doing, I'm going to take some coffee stir sticks. This one seems a little flimsy. Coffee stir sticks. I'm just going to temporarily hot glue them on so that it sits across like that to keep it from sinking. And if I have to, then I can also tape it down to keep it from floating. And once I've got that, then I can take all my little flowers and slowly put them in there, kind of like so. All right. Now what I plan on doing with this yellow one is I'm going to cut off all these little petals, and I'm just going to kind of hide this. I'm going to use some kind of glue, maybe hot glue. And I'm just going to hot glue them all the way around, hide them, just to hide it. Maybe a few sticking up, maybe a few on top, bend them over. I don't know, as we go. But also, I'm going to put some hot glue right in here because there is a hole where the LED comes through, right? And of course, you don't want too much resin in there. Resin's not going to hurt this, but, and then of course the bottom, you can pull off the bottom to replace your battery, right? So that makes it easy. So when this is upright like that, the bottom will be sticking out, so you'll be able to change your battery. Now, of course, I'm going to have to sand it a bit to get rid of this numbers and stuff that's here. Not a big deal. I can use my Dremel to sand it and shape it a little bit. And then I've got the polishing pads and compounds to also polish it after. So let's get to it. First things first, I think this here. Now I should mention that the resin I'm going to be using is from Vivid. Now this stuff is a water-based resin, 2-to-1 ratio. You can measure it by volume or by weight. Either way works. I've tried both. There's absolutely no odor with this stuff. Because it is a water-based, it does take an oil-based ink very well. It also takes water-based paints and pigments very well. Very strong. I've had no problems with it. Love it. I've got a whole bunch of that stuff on order coming in. For me, this stuff is made in Quebec, Canada. So I'm supporting Canada. Not that I don't want to support anywhere else, but they say to try and support local businesses or country businesses. So I'm doing so. But I just love that product. This is not sponsored or anything. I've got all kinds of it. And I love it. So let's get to this here. Now my sticks, I'm going to try and make sure that they're sticking over the sides. So just a quick rough measurement here. They don't have to be perfect. Good enough. So I've got the hot glue ready here. And this is, again, only temporary. Now I am trying to keep it from being on the sides because the resin will be right up against that. Now I don't know if I should be putting the sticks on first or if I should be putting the petals on first. But hey, figure it out as I go. And because it's only hot glue on smooth plastic, should be able to break this off fairly easy afterwards. So I'm just going to give that a minute to dry. Now, this here, like I said, being that it's plastic, I mean, you could probably rip them off by hand. Yeah, see, fairly easy. Grab yourself a pair of scissors, cut them off that way. So I'm going to try the hot glue first with these petals and see how it works. Now I'm not trying to completely cover this. I'm just trying to hide it a little bit. I'm just trying to keep them random, overlap, a little crooked, you know. Plants aren't the straightest. So that's what I've got so far. Now I'm going to put on a bunch more just to hide some more. I might throw a few up top. So I'll get that done and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's what I've got. Just gave it all good coating with these little petals. Now, make sure to get rid of all your strings. Now, one thing I wanted to make sure though is that when I turn it on, it does still glow through. So the next thing I'm going to do is figure out how to put these in there. So if I glue this down, it's going to make it actually quite difficult to, push them in, right? So what I was thinking is I might just take these and hot glue them on right where I want. Now by doing so, I can also shave off some of the back, and whatever does stick out will be pushed in by the cup. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start by trimming off this just to get it a little thinner, to keep it a little closer to the light. Now with past experience, any hot glue that is visible should disappear with the resin. Now again, I'm trying to keep everything above the bottom line so that it's not sticking out afterwards. But if it is, I'm pretty sure that you could probably either take a pair of scissors or a knife and trim anything off. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Now, I'm going to finish up doing up the little things, and I'll be back to show you. Okay, so that's what I've got. Now, I happen to have these little butterfly stickers. I don't know if you can see them there. I've got a couple of them here and there. Now, hopefully they stay in spot. I may have to peel them off and put some hot glue behind them or something. But, so I've test fitted this. So I'm going to take our cup. Fits in there nice. Touching the sides a little bit, but not too much, which shouldn't matter too much. This is just an experiment. I've never done this before. So, but I've noticed though, the things are trying to push it up. So I am going to hot glue this down, and then we'll get to making some resin. So I'm going to make sure it's centered. So I'm going to hold that until it cures, And then I'm going to get set up for resin. I made sure that I've had no stringies on the inside from the hot glue. So when I come back, we'll get to mixing resin and pour it in. Well guys, here we have it. Nicely cured. So I'm going to pop that out of there. Like so. And there we go. Now I got to obviously sand and clean up the edge. I got to flatten this down, get rid of that rib that's there and the numbers and stuff from the container. Now in this, the resin cured, left a sharp edge, so I'm going to have to break that off. But it also shrank a little bit. You can see that it's higher here than here. So again, this is all experiment. So what I'm thinking is, once I've got it cleaned up a bit, I might use the hot glue gun and build like a rubber ring on it so it doesn't slide around on the table. That might help compensate for that. So I'll have to try and figure out a different way to do it so that I can fill it up more and be able to sand it when it's done. But it turned out freaking wicked. So to sand this, on the bottom side, I think I'm going to use the Dremel because I can't use sandpaper. But on the top side, I think I'm going to start off with an 80, flatten that out, and just work my way up to 3000. And then I'll use the Dremel to polish it. So I'm going to put you on fast forward here, give you a little bit of music to listen to while I sand this down with the Dremel. Alright, so here's what's going on. Going through my sandpaper, I noticed I've got everything from 40 grit all the way up to 220 grit. Then I have 1000 and 2000 grit. You can't jump between 220 and 1000. It just won't get rid of the scratches. So I had to go find my headlight polishing kit, which has a 600 grit, a couple of them. And then I have 800 grit. And again, going from 220 to 600, still not the best. It also has 2000 grit, 3000 grit, and these are like little foam, and a 4000. And then of course, it's got the polishing pad, right? And then I've got headlight polishing compound. So off screen, I used all of these, worked great, but not ideal. So I'm going to have to go and pick up some actual grades of grits of sandpaper. But this is what I come up with. Completely flat, shiny. Now, of course, I still have, being that this is only a test one, I still have to fix up the bottom somehow. And I'm thinking of using my 3D pen to make some sort of base for it and, you know, have a little couple arms sticking up or something. I don't know. But the polishing come out awesome. So, for being a test and see if this stuff would even work, and here I'll even show you this part of it. So I'm definitely going to be trying and doing a lot more stuff, especially when my orders come in, when I have all my silicone molds here, to be able to do a whole lot of other things. And I've got a whole lot more resin coming. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. If you have any ideas of what you want to see me do with resin, put your comments down below, and I'll definitely read them and take them into consideration. Check me out on Instagram at Blue Streak Customs. Also, check me out on Facebook. I'll post things there. I also post things on Instagram, so make sure you check out that too. So until then, later.